Before we get started, we got a live show, a truly live podcast that we were doing Monday.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought you meant we were going to a strip club.
Oh, you mean we're going all the way live?
I mean, that is a live show. Those
That,
girls work very hard.
no, it is a
And you
live
know what?
shoe
So
show,
do those
baby.
fellas. Shame on me for excluding.
Shame on you. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, teach his own. But I'm more of a traditional what we were thinking type.
Sure. I mean, listen, I don't want to exclude all of those poor failed cops that got to keep the uniform and are doing the only thing they know how to do to keep the lights on.
Hell yeah, baby.
Yep.
You are a part of this party too. That's what you are. Live show, live podcast coming up Monday, March 27th.
Ooh.
Monday, March 27th. We're going to do that bad boy at 6 p.m. Central Time. I think I'm breaking that news to Dimitri right now, too.
I believe
6
you
p.m. Central Time. We'll remind you coming up to the point. You can check it out on social media, too. But we've been promising you a live show. We've been promising you bonus shows. Those are forthcoming, and our first live show means you got to come check us out. Monday, March 27th. The link will be everywhere. It'll go to your emails, too. And if you're not on social media following us on Twitter, go ahead and do it. Our handles are in our name, for crying out loud. Go
Indeed.
find us there. Welcome into Dynasty Mode, the unofficial EA Sports college football game podcast.
Pew, pew, pew.
My name is Arky Shea. That is Dimitri Ravanos Dimitri. This podcast is all about the potential doom at Electronic Arts because of the college football video game. Are you ready to get into the dark days ahead, potentially?
I am. I would not have thought of it as doom, but I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Well, you don't get to make the intro, bro.
Nope, very fair. Like I said, hey, listen, I said I'm picking up what you're putting down.
All right, saddle up, buckaroo, and keep that thing in your holster. This comes from a story that recently came out about potential issues with Electronic Arts and EA Sports considering the Madden 24 game. So that's obviously the game that comes out next, but Madden 23 has some serious issues. So to get the publication right, InsiderGaming.com had a story where sources were telling them that the next Madden would be a, quote, make or break game for the franchise. And this coming off the heels, Dimitri, of several things that the people don't like about the game itself, including one major bugaboo that during an update, some people who had their franchise saved online, it crashed, lost a lot of franchises that people had made. Even though EA tried to make good, still people not happy. And that goes along with the long list of people not being happy with Electronic Arts in general about the Madden game and even other games that they've had for it. So, Dimitri, I wanted to spin this forward because we do have the college football video game coming out in 2020, whatever year, 2024, allegedly. We'll see. Do we think that there is a potential correlation here with a potential make or break Madden game with the next release and the first release of the college football video game next year as well?
I do, Arky, because we know that next year is going to be the last year that EA Sports has only one football video game out there. You know, assuming all goes according to plan with college football. And we know that despite the fact that the company is being very careful to make sure you know that EA Sports College Football 24-25 is not a Madden reskin, it is running off the same engine. So part of me wonders, is this make or break? Is it less about getting rid of Madden? And I did my sort of Jedi hand wave there. Is it less about getting rid of Madden and more about wondering, A, how much of the market share that Madden has right now is about not having an alternative, right? Because there is not a college football video game at EA Sports. There is not another NFL video game available. How many of us are playing it because we can't play a college football video game right now? I'm definitely one of them. The other thing I wonder is, are they looking at this less about we won't make Madden anymore and more about that they would let that exclusivity that they have with the NFL lapse?
Yes, so a couple interesting points that you're bringing up there. One is obviously because this August will be the last time, as you mentioned, that there's going to be 1 year, one football franchise happening in EA as far as the United States football version is concerned. Then there's going to be a lot of work that has to be done with that Madden to be able to make people at all happy. Now, granted, early on, the user scores were higher than the last Madden that was out there, but not by a ton. And there weren't a lot of people enjoying the Madden experience, which I think is different than people who, as you're sort of alluding to, are kind of forced into the Madden experience, right?
Yeah,
Like
and
that's the if they want to play American football, that's sort of the franchise and that's the mode that they have to go to. That if they had another alternative, a realistic alternative, I should say, maybe they would play college instead of Madden, but instead, now they're going into just the Madden itself. But can I ask you something about that?
I would prefer you not, but I
Okay,
sense you
fair.
want to.
I do actually want to.
Okay.
So let's say this next version of Madden coming up this August is truly is make or break.
Okay.
They have had a decade run of just no competition, right?
Yeah.
For this sort of side of the genre. What could the breaking point be?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I really kind of think we should explore exactly what they mean by make or break, because I can't picture Madden not being made anymore. I mean, could it be something where the Madden I mean, I don't know. Is it the Madden family? Is it a company they've licensed the name to? Could it be them taking the brand elsewhere? I don't know. I find it really hard to believe that make or break means the ultimate, like, we may not make this thing anymore. I think it is a matter of, there is one more year with no competition at all on the market. If we are ever going to solve these problems, this is the year they have to be solved.
You would think so.
I mean,
Because
that would be my guess.
because what we're being promised with the college football game is not only the not Madden reskin, but actually something that's being sort of built from the ground up,
Mhm.
is that we're kind of being teased into and semi-promised a completely different experience. We're
Right.
basically from the gameplay to some of the controls to actually how the look and the feel of the game may actually be. If we're completely going that way with everything we've heard and read so far, which is what we're leaning towards,
Mhm.
I don't see losing entire market share of Madden players to the college football video
Oh, of
game.
course not.
And in the end, they all go into the same bucket for EA, right?
Right.
For as far as making money. But I wonder if there is a concern that now that there is a separate sort of team, big team working on this college football video game, that maybe there's a concern that there is going to be a de-emphasis on Madden and sort of put into the college football video game, if that makes sense, where it sort of takes a little precedent because it's new and the first thing in over a decade, and it is such a new experience, and Madden has sort of been wash, rinse, and repeat so far.
So that kind of is, I think, something to consider here. So EA has had the exclusive license from the NFL. There is no other NFL video game since 2004, right? In 2020, the NFL re-upped that deal with EA, and it now runs through 2026. So realistically, I guess even after Madden 25 comes out, I guess realistically, there are still 2 games left on that deal. I would be interested to know when the negotiating window opens, if the NFL wants to take those rights to the open market, or just get rid of exclusivity and take their rights for multiple video game partners to the open market. I wonder how much of this is EA recognizing that the NFL probably is a little bit sick of hearing these complaints about Madden.
Maybe the NFL also is one of these, hey, give us more and more money constantly monsters out there that by the time it gets there, maybe EA doesn't find it to be nearly as advantageous to have that title.
Let me
Are,
throw another possibility out to you. This is something that maybe we haven't considered, but the NFL they're a big business that really is controlled by 33 guys, right? The 32 owners and Roger Goodell. What if they prefer college football?
I do like this idea.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea.
What if the segment of the market that is only playing Madden because they cannot get a college football game is the 32 NFL team owners and Roger Goodell?
I would like to think that Steve Biscotti, the owner of the Baltimore Ravens, is like,
Mm-hmm.
man, I ain't seen Rutgers on in a while.
Yeah.
Okay, this is where I want to send my loyalty to.
I
So,
think correct. Well, we know Jimmy Haslam, the owner of the Browns, is a maniacal Tennessee fan. I want to say, didn't Shad Khan, the owner of the Jaguars, didn't he have some sort of like official involvement with the Big Ten for a while?
that I don't know off the top of my head.
I know he went to some Big Ten school, and as a result of,
I would think it's Illinois because
I think it is Illinois.
I think he and his son both went to both went to Illinois.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he had an official capacity there or with the Big Ten. I mean, which makes some sense. He's got several dollars and some
Yes.
influence.
He does
there.
have a few.
He does have a few and a wonderful mustache.
Mhm.
Wonderful. Mwah, chef's kiss. Didn't even do the fingers. That's how good it was. Yeah. So could be the owners rebelling against EA and the Madden game itself.
What else could make sense?
Well, I would then think about what other competition. So let's say if EA didn't want it, right, going
Right.
forward, like it's just too expensive for them. They're done with the headaches. Although, I mean, this game makes a ton of money. Even when
Right.
people moan and complain about it, it still rakes in a ton of money. Like there is a tipping point where you don't make that much money. Like you don't make enough to make all the headache worth.
I mean, and look, if re-upping this contract, if the cost goes up every single year, and there is even a minuscule percentage of diminishing returns, like it is someone at EA's job to figure out at what point they can no longer afford to do this.
Yeah, and then like they can get back to making rugby games or something.
Finally.
Like the stuff that people are actually begging for at
Yeah.
this point. I do wonder then who in the marketplace would be there for it, right? Because then it goes back to supply and demand, right?
2K would be there at a heartbeat.
Would 2K pay even more than what EA pays right now to get back to the NFL rights?
I think they would. I think that for 2K to sort of be able to position themselves as the NFL game and the NBA game, like, you know what, that might be a market position. And I guess they have a pretty popular Major League Baseball game too. That could be a market position EA just can't fight against.
I would say this, that I think that there are a lot of people who are watching this podcast or listening to it who would say that they would prefer the way 2K games play sports-wise than EA. I don't think that's unfair to say.
Mm-hmm.
But I just wonder, because the NFL essentially has been asking for they're just making numbers up, and TV companies, for example, are just giving it to them. Right? Like there's like, we would like $250 million per quarter, and ESPN's like, okay, that's a little low than I was expecting. Good, here you go. Like it's just over and over churning all this money. I wonder if EA would worry about getting into a bidding war with someone like a 2K.
I mean, listen, it's not that long ago you and I were talking about the possibility that EA might want to buy ESPN. So it's not like there's not money there, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And this is Madden's a decent chunk of reason why.
Absolutely.
Like it is their preeminent, basically turning into their preeminent American sports brand as far as the video games. And until the college football game comes out, then that will be number one with a bullet.
With a bullet.
Yes.
Speaking of EA Sports college games, do you remember the year MVP baseball turned into a college baseball game?
I do remember. I don't know what year, but I do remember, yes.
I think it might have been 05 or 06, because I mean, like, I was a devotee of MVP baseball, and then all of a sudden it was gone, and here was some dude from the University of Texas on the cover, and everything sounded like a bell when it hit the ball. Ping.
You got a problem with that?
Yeah, I do.
Okay,
I do. Honestly, the ping is the number one reason I can't watch college baseball.
Oh, well, that's okay. Well, I mean, you don't need then a lot of reasons not to watch college baseball, apparently.
It just sounds incredibly stupid to me.
You're just like, oh, that's artificial. That's cool. Granted, isn't all noise and sound artificial to a degree?
It's all just waves, baby.
It is really all just waves. That is the Hawaii state of mind. I like it.
That it certainly is.
I like that. So then let's push this forward a little bit. Let's say the college football game comes out on time, what we think is on time, and the NFL game, Madden, comes out, of course, still because it's under contract. I think that first video game for college, I'm on the record saying that I think that will sell way more than it's ever sold before. I think that will that might hit 3 million copies just because of the thirst for it. That would outsell Madden almost 100% sure at that rate. So then do you think that sort of pushes EA toward that breaking point, no matter how good Madden is that next year, and I guess where Madden 25 would be?
No, I think they would have to see that is sustainable from the college football game to really be to have the college game.
Well, you'd be running out of time because you got that. You really have like one more year to be able to.
I mean, and it could be that simple. I really think that EA wants to keep Madden. I mean, I think it is the most iconic name in American sports video games, and I don't think it's close. I think that you are probably right that I think you are definitely right that the first college game back will sell more than any game in the series before it. Will it eclipse Madden in year one? I think it's a possibility. I don't think it's likely realistic, and I don't know that EA would necessarily count on this being a new normal for them.
All right. This episode is almost over, but can I ask you that you and I will bet a Buffalo nickel on
sure,
whether or not Madden gets outsold in its first year by college football video game, whatever they call it?
You will have to remind me multiple times that we did this, but yes, one Buffalo nickel.
You better go find yourself a Buffalo nickel, sir.
All right, sir, I will.
All right. Okay, Dimitri.
Arky.
God bless us all, right?
Yes, everyone, I believe, as Tiny Tim said.
Tiny Tim. One of my favorite apostles. You got to say goodbye to the good people.
I will. Before I do, can we think of anybody other than himself, other than Tiny Tim and himself, that Robin, Kermit's nephew, played in any of the Muppet movies? I don't think anything exists.
Shout out to you for knowing the name of that character. You are a true Muppet man.
I am. You know what? If I show you my Kermit mug from the 70s, a lot of other stuff on my desk is going to fall. But yes,
we just take your word for it?
Yeah, you can take my word for it.
Can you show it off at the live show?
Sure. I will show everybody my Kermit mug dressed as the Muppet Newsman at the live show. Save and sim to next week, everybody.